Hello there people of YouTube and welcome back to the Spikehead podcast, where today I shall be doing something a little different. I'll be going back into the realm of ranking videos, and for today's ranking I'll be looking at the Skywalker Saga. So I will not be including any standalone solo films such as Solo or Rogue One. I am speaking specifically of everything from the Phantom Menace all the way to the Rise of Skywalker. And before I get into this ranking video, guys, if you do like what I do on this channel, then please feel free to drop a like and hit that subscribe button and bell. It would really help a lot. And without further ado, let's get right into these rankings. So coming in at number 9, we have Attack of the Clones. Now, as a kid, I did enjoy the Colosseum fight, but I remember I always fast forwarded to that specific fight. I would skip the first hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of the movie, just to get exclusively to that bit. And it is a shame, but it is commonly regarded as the worst one, and I am not inclined to disagree. Yes, Count Dooku is a decent villain, but he is very wasted. The dialogue is, aside from meme quality, it's terrible. And I don't like the sand thing, this is the icing on the cake with it. They tone down a lot of stuff from the Phantom Menace and ended up committing more to the talking. And yeah, this was just the weakest point of the Star Wars franchise. I can never really buy the romance between Anakin and Padme. What can I say? Anything about this movie that's bad has been said before, so I'm just going to move right on to my next entry. Coming at number 8, we have The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, the very most recent episode of Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. Me, personally, I didn't mind this movie as much as everyone else. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but it lacked any sort of gravitas with me. Outside of the Han Solo and Ben Solo final farewell scene, there wasn't a whole lot to get me excited in this film. My favourite bit was actually the bit before the film started, where it was said something like the saga may be over, but the journey will last forever, and it shows all these pictures of grown adults, kids, everyone in cosplay at Comic-Cons, and showing how big this whole Star Wars phenomenon has got since it first came out way back in the day. The film itself was just dull. They tore down a lot of characters. They gave Finn and Poe separate characters to fall for, hypothetically, and everything just felt rushed. It spent a lot of time trying to apologise for The Last Jedi, and in all honesty, this film came across as very petty for me. And the Emperor coming back wasn't decent either. Honestly, I think it undersold the big Vader face turn in Return of the Jedi. So with that all coming together, I'm going to say that's the second worst Star Wars movie in the Skywalker Saga. Now coming in at number 7, we have The Phantom Menace. Yes, I do put that over The Rise of Skywalker. Now, why would I do that? Well, like I said, with Rise of Skywalker, wasn't a whole lot I can remember from that film. There's nothing really that stood out outside of maybe Ren and Kylo. But with The Phantom Menace, say what you want about it, yeah, it is boring, but I honestly don't think Jar Jar's as bad as everyone makes out. He just kind of became a scapegoat. I love the pod racing scene, and arguably, Duel of the Fates is the greatest lightsaber soundtrack of the entire franchise. No one ever has a bad word to say about that soundtrack. The lightsaber duel as well between Darth Maul, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon is up there with one of the best lightsaber duels, but it's the Duel of the Fates soundtrack that really makes it. And it just stuck with the classic Star Wars thing. We had a land battle, we had a lightsaber duel, and we had a space battle, all coexisting with each other, and that makes the last part of the film really entertaining, regardless of all the boring stuff that came before it. Now coming at number 6, it is The Force Awakens, the big return to form for Star Wars. It was the first Star Wars film that I managed to see in theatres, because I never got to watch any of the prequels when I was a child in the cinema, because parents were scared it might scar me or something, I don't know. This was a film that a lot of people loved when it first came out, but then they started to hate it as time went on. And yeah, it does borrow a lot from A New Hope, and it was more of a strapping the training wheels back on sort of thing. But I do like the new ideas it tried. For the longest time, as much as everyone wants to bitch about right now, no one expected there to be the Jedi going into the film. All the marketing led us to believe that John Boyega's Finn was going to be the Jedi, straight down to him holding the lightsaber and everything. But as the film was going on, you start to piece together that, hang on, Rey's the one that's force sensitive here. And when she does pull that lightsaber in for the first time, that brought a tear to my eye when I first watched it, and I'll never forget that moment in the theatre. The big, oh my god, yes! It was perfectly executed, and for that alone, it deserves to be regarded as one of the best of the new trilogy, and that's what puts it above Rise of Skywalker for me. Also, it was just nice to see Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford all back in their respective roles. Han and Chewie's banter with each other was fantastic. Yeah, for what it was, I thought it was a decent Star Wars flick. Now, coming at number 5, it is Revenge of the Sith. Now, this was easily the best of the prequel trilogy. Why? Because stuff happened. We had 2 films where not a whole lot of stuff happened, particularly the second one. But this one, from the get-go, it was just action-packed, and it delivered. Ewan McGregor stole the show as Obi-Wan. From delivering from his comedic moments, his little hello there with General Grievous spawning 1,000 memes, to the powerful "You Are the Chosen One" speech. Like, that scene could have been so hammy and cheesy, but Ewan McGregor made it work and made us feel something for that scene, despite all the weak acting we've seen before it from some of the other actors in the film. And the betrayal of the Order 66 scene, that was a gut punch. It was hard to watch. The younglings dying, yeah, that did scare me a little bit when I was a kid. And yeah, Anakin vs. Obi-Wan on Mustafar is arguably the greatest lightsaber duel of all time. Yes, I have said that. I think it's better than any of the original trilogy's lightsaber duels, just because they were able to go so much more fast-paced with it, and just the stakes and the emotional level to it was brilliant. Coming at number 4, we're going to go into Return of the Jedi, the finale of the OG trilogy. Now, I love this. This was my favourite as a kid. As I've grown older, yeah, it is lackluster compared to the first 2, and I know that now. The Ewoks, I loved them as a kid. I don't really mind them now. However, it does always annoy me that these stormtroopers are wearing all this armour and they're being beaten by rocks and sticks. The Emperor gloating with Luke was a powerful scene. Vader's face turn at the end of it all, like I said, that was undervalued come Rise of Skywalker, but for this, without the added on no that they throw in there on one of the editions, the original just is a blank face. You don't see any emotion on him, but the way it was shot, you somehow saw him, the way that the camera was shot, you saw him turn between Luke and the Emperor and then making that decision. All body language, and it was just perfectly acted by the gentleman in that suit. I know it wasn't James Earl Jones, it was someone else in the suit, and it was just great to watch. And I do like the first hour when it's all the Jabba the Hutt stuff. That was a fun little opening for it, and was definitely the most action-packed opening out of the original trilogy. Now we're going into top 3 territory now, and I'm going to say my number 3 is The Empire Strikes Back. I know this is lower than anyone will put it. Everyone regards this as the best Star Wars film, and I see why. The cliffhanger, though, I feel is what undervalues it for me, because it doesn't really stand as its own film purely because of the cliffhanger. There's not really a whole lot of action on it. It's a lot of, after Hoth, there's just a lot of wandering around in exposition and training, and it's very well crafted. Don't get me wrong, I love the way it's crafted, but if you're a young kid going to see Star Wars and seeing all these lights and flashes and bangs, it's quite boring in the middle period, despite the betrayal and the double crossing and the backstabbing that goes off in this. It just wasn't my favourite one, though I do love this movie. These top 3, I do love all 3 of them. The I am your father twist, spoiling all the parodies, is an iconic scene that can never be replicated. I do love the Hoth battle, the fact they did a lot of that stuff with stop motion. One of the most amazing things about the original Star Wars trilogy is, with all the limitations they had back then, they somehow managed to make this gorgeous sci-fi series, and it just worked really well. And I love this movie, but unfortunately it is only 3rd on my list because I just happen to love the last 2 on the list just that little bit more. Coming in at number 2 is The Last Jedi. Yes, I am firmly on the fence of The Last Jedi being one of the best Star Wars films and easily the best of the new trilogy. Now, why do I think that? Well, with The Force Awakens, everyone raged that it was too samey to what we've had before. If you can hear sounds in the background, I'm sorry, but it's been going for the last 5 minutes. I'm just going to power through it. But yeah, Last Jedi. There are problems with it, I'm not going to lie. Canto Bight is a terrible side plot. The fact that they sort of tease Lando and don't give us Lando, and he's just thrown in as an afterthought in the last film, really irks me quite a bit about this film. But I love the simplicity of the story. The fact it's just a simple chase movie, and it was one of the most beautifully, if not the most beautifully shot Star Wars film. The entire battle at the end on that planet whose name I completely forget, but you know which planet I mean. The cinematography on that, the Hodo kamikaze mission, that image where she light speeds through that destroyer and you just see the image. Get me a picture of that on my wall. I want it over there above my editing suite. It is just gorgeous. I love that Luke's a bitter old man and he eventually learns by the end of the film that, yeah, he's been wrong this whole time and he has to commit to the Jedi Order again and regain his faith in the whole Jedi Order. The puppet Yoda and Luke scene was just brilliant to watch. It really warmed my heart seeing these two old friends reconciliating one last time. Luke Skywalker's projection stuff at the end was a fantastic twist. That last little moment between Leia and Luke was sweet as hell. I didn't mind Rey so much in this one. There's just so much about this one that I do enjoy. Yeah, there are things that you can question about it. Canto Bight and the Hodo not telling Poe about the plan. Yeah, there were some weak points of it. But for me, the good stuff outweighs the bad stuff in this. And there's just so much good stuff in this that people refuse to see. And I will defend that film to the day I die. Which means coming in at number 1 is the OG Star Wars A New Hope, or just Star Wars as it was originally called. This just started it all, didn't it? And all the other Star Wars films, I could pick problems out from every single one of them. But this one, I don't see a single problem with it. It is very nicely paced. It takes time for you to get to know all the characters. It creates an all-around Darth Vader. It shows Leia as being this stronger character that was just stubborn and feisty. Han being this scoundrel and just wanting to get paid, but coming at the end to save the day. The trench run, the original mentor-student storyline that has been done to death at this point was very original at the time when Star Wars first came out. Obi-Wan and Luke's bond was fantastic. Alec Guinness is just fantastic in the role as Obi-Wan. It's a shame that we never ever got to see a lot more of him in the franchise, but it was nice to hear him back again in the Rise of Skywalker via some voice things. And yeah, this is just what started it all. This was a franchise that started for purely children to sell toys, and it just blew up into this massive thing where if you walk into any convention, I guarantee at least 5-10% of the cosplayers will be dressed in some sort of Star Wars gear. There's a lot of Reys, a lot of Rens, lots of Stormtroopers. It's just a really good film. The pacing is perfect. The stuff they managed to achieve back then should not have been possible. This film had no right to be as good or look as good as what it did, but it managed it. And I do love that we have this phantom threat from the Empire the whole time. It's mainly Darth Vader, but you know he has a master going off in it. I love this movie, and it started everything. And for me, that will always be my number 1 film in the Skywalker Saga. Last Jedi did come close, but as I've said, there were some problems in Last Jedi that I can't overlook. A New Hope, I struggle to think of any problems with this movie. So yeah, that's my number 1 pick, guys, for the Skywalker Saga. Now, what are your rankings of the Skywalker Saga? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and please feel free to drop a like on the video and hit subscribe. Again, it would really help me a lot. We are still close to 100 now, and just to address the global epidemic in the world right now, hope everyone is staying safe, keeping healthy, and just washing your hands, and stay safe, everyone. And just let's stick together in solidarity. We all love films, so stick around for more films coming up on this channel. Coming up, I will probably be reviewing Doctor Sleep, as I didn't manage to review that when it came out last year, but I love that film, so we'll carry on with it. But until then, guys, this is that Spike Care Podcast, signing off. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more reviews coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.